Hi, my name's Damien Cooley, Director and Auctioneer at Cooley Auctions. One of the most common fears that a seller has when thinking about selling their home is that they're going to undersell their home. And one of the ways that you can protect your interest is by setting a reserve price. Now, every property that goes to auction in New South Wales is required to have a written reserve figure. But how do we arrive at that reserve price? One of the most effective ways at arriving at what your bottom line is or your reserve price will be on auction day is I encourage you to write down a figure at what you believe you would sell that home for, and then reduce that figure by $10,000. So for example, if your reserve was going to be $800,000, reduce it to $790,000 and then to $780,000 and then to $770,000, and ask yourself the question, would I sell it for $800,000? Now, if the answer is yes, cross that figure out. If the answer is yes to $790,000, cross that figure out. If the answer is no at $780,000, well, you're getting to the point where you understand what you will sell that home for. And your reserve price should always be set at what would be the most competitive figure to sell the home. Now, the important thing that you also need to take into consideration when setting the most competitive reserve is how the campaign has gone. So I really encourage you to take the advice from the agent and ask them some simple questions. How many buyers are we expecting to register at the auction? What do you think those buyers are going to pay for the home? Where do you think we should set the reserve? If the bidding stops at a particular figure, what do you think would be the best approach to get as much as we can for this home? Essentially, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't undersell the home. Now, choosing the right agent will obviously help you ensure that you don't undersell the home, but setting a competitive reserve that builds momentum during an auction can also assist you with that. And when we talk about momentum, it's a very important word in auction, because the momentum of the auction can mean that if the bidding is flowing really well and nicely, letting the buyers know the property is going to sell can often spur the bidding on. Our owner's instructions, Peter, now are to sell it? Correct. Okay, the bid is at $4 million and it's going to be sold. The other point that you need to consider is that if you don't have that many registered parties, maybe only one bidder, possibly two, you may need to consider setting a slightly higher reserve price on auction day, because what that will do is that it will give the agent a better negotiating platform to work with if we do need to move into a negotiation. It's a common misconception that the reserve price is actually set on the auction day. However, we would really encourage you to start thinking about what that reserve price will be at least 7 to 10 days before auction day. And always remember that on the day of the auction, we can always tweak what that final figure may be. For example, if you have set a reserve at $800,000 and the bidding stops at $765,000, but you are happy to sell, you can change the reserve to $765,000. The agent will simply need your written authorization to do that, but it is a very simple process. Having trust in your agent and auctioneer really is critical, because the agent and auctioneer are working in your best interest to get you the best result we can. So it's important that you listen to the feedback from the buyers during that campaign and ultimately take the agent's advice on where they feel the reserve should be set on auction day. Always remember that the auctioneer is here to help. So leading into auction day, if you have any questions relating to the reserve price or anything else about the auction, feel free to pick the phone up and ask your auctioneer. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you on auction day.